I'd like to call this meeting of October 4th, 2022 for regular council to order at 7:06 p.m. We'll stay seated for a moment of silent reflection. Thank you very much. As we gather this evening, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history. And we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. During the month of September, I attended 13 meetings for municipal and organic business. Saturday, October 1st, 2022, I attended the dedication of the Truth and Reconciliation Garden at John Street in Eganville. On September 27th, 2022, I attended the official check presentation at the Pembroke SPCA with Special Projects Coordinator Cameron Montgomery. The wrap-up of the Water and Dirt Festival on August 14th, 2022 was the doggy paddle and celebrity relay race at Melissa Bishop Park, raising an amazing $15,517.60. Thanks again to our staff and Recreation Committee members who helped organize and support this event. On Thursday, October 6th, 2022, our municipality is hosting the Affordable Housing Alliance of the Ottawa Valley Town Hall meeting at the Golden Lake Community Center. Previous meetings have occurred in Madawaska Valley, Pembroke, and Bossier Valley, recognizing that affordable housing is a reality throughout Renfrew County, and we must work together in finding creative solutions. Staff are continuing with preparations for the October 24th, 2022 municipal elections. Also, a reminder to all residents to test and check their smoke detector batteries, as October 9th to the 15th is Fire Prevention Week. Could I get a mover and a seconder to adopt the mayor's address as presented? Moved by Councillor Reiche Schoenfeld, seconded by Councillor Byrne. Councillor Burns? Yes. Councillor Buchwald?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Councillor Reiche Schoenfeld?
Yes.
I mean, yes. Carried. Thank you. So we'll move on to the adoption of the minutes of September 20th, 2022. Oh, sorry. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof? Seeing none, then could I get a mover and a seconder that the September 20th, 2022 regular council meetings be accepted as presented? Moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Reiche Schoenfeld. Are there any additions, corrections, or omissions? Seeing none, Councillor Burns? Yes. Councillor Buchwald?
Yes.
Councillor Robinson?
Yes.
Councillor Reiche Schoenfeld?
Yes.
I mean, yeah. Carried. Thank you. We have no delegations, so going into reports, item 7.1 is the surplus equipment in public works. I have a motion that council accepts the report as presented and declare the equipment listed surplus and direct staff to dispose of the items. So I'm going to move in a second and moved by Councillor Burns, seconded by Councillor Robinson. Comments or questions? Councillor Reiche Schoenfeld.
Does GovDeals charge a commission or an advertising rate or anything?
They do, yeah.
So I was just thinking, it's a, anyway, so that's why you went with the plow truck.
Yeah.
As opposed to putting it on for GV or something.
Yeah. on both deals, you have a tendency to receive a higher selling price, right, for larger items. But that's where the state will go with the smaller items.
Councilor Robinson.
Just a question, is it being sold as is? There is no understanding.
Yeah, they're being sold as is where.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, Councilor Burns. Yes. Councilor Buckwald,
yes,
Councilor Robinson,
Yes,
Councilor Rebecca Schonfeld,
Yes,
I'm a yes. Barry, thank you. Item 7.2 is the CENC update. I have a motion that council accepts the CENC update report. Then I got a mover and a seconder, moved by Councilor Rebecca Schonfeld, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Comments, questions? Seeing none, Councilor Burns. Yes. Councilor Buckwald,
yes,
Robinson,
yes,
Councilor Rebecca Schonfeld,
yes,
yes, it's carried, thank you. Item 7.3 is the festive dinner. I have a motion that council accepts the report regarding the 2022 festive dinner and that staff be directed to organize a festive dinner in late November, or early December for staff, firefighters, council, and persons named on the appointment bylaw and guests at a cost of no more than $45 per person, including the cost of the venue. And I got a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councilor Byrne, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Questions, comments? Councilor Rebecca Schonfeld.
I still think that us providing the guests is going above and beyond. And I know we talked about firefighters, partners and all that stuff, but to me, $45 for dinner and then a partner that's $90, that's nearly $100 per couple. Some municipalities, you know, they'll provide something for that group of people, but not necessarily, it's not necessarily their partners. And some there is a buy-in to you know, they'll offset the cost, you pay $10, they'll cover the rest. It does seem to me like a lot of money.
Yes, Michelle.
So the resolution says that no more than $45 per person, and that includes the cost of venue. So the staff will investigate, will determine what options are available. So that we obtain the best prices for the municipality.
Councilor Robinson.
I guess I am also concerned about the price. But I guess the other thing is how many, what is the anticipated count? I can't recall what the attendance was, because that would give us an overall cost out of pocket.
Do we know what the attendance was at the last event? Yes.
I think I'll do that. I did a cost estimate for the event. So based on the number of firefighters, the number of council staff, and number of people on the appointment bylaw, there would be approximately 130 people maximum. So that would translate into, that would translate into approximately $4,000 based on $30 per plate, and for an additional $1,000 for the hall and the extra cost, it would cost approximately $5,000 for the event.
And that 130 number, that was based on the person's partner, like we doubled.
Yeah.
Councilor Byrne, do you have your that?
I can find $45 for that, for two people, that'd be $90. I don't know if there's any way we move for 25. And even if you have to pay a tip yourself, because $90 for two people is, I mean, it's too high.
Yes. Michelle.
And like I said, so the $45 is the maximum price. Based on cost of the meal, running at approximately $30. And if we had to rent the venue, I believe it could come in less than 45, but we're using that as an upset cost.
So my question is, I know the last 2 years, because of COVID, we didn't do a festive dinner. We just handed out gift cards or provided a gift for staff. Has there been a poll with staff to see what they preferred based on the 2 different scenarios? Yes.
No, we haven't told the staff to see what they would prefer.
Councillor Buckle.
Anecdotally, I haven't done a study on it, but I know after the last one that we had, I know the members of the fire department were very appreciative that it was an opportunity for them and their spouses to be out and be recognized. And I hear the concern with covering spouses or significant others. I think it's appropriate that we do that at least for the various volunteer members, which would be the firefighters and some of the various committee appointees or special appointees that really don't get any other recognition or really financial benefit out of it. Again, we like I said, we've had this discussion before. I think $45 is a maximum. If we can do it under that. Is it to me it's an investment in our volunteer, especially our volunteers. Again, as it's volunteer retention is getting harder, and sometimes a perk like that can save you from having to spend $5,000 training a new person. Just if maybe it's that little thing that gets them to stay on. Just a thought. I look at it as an investment as opposed to an expense.
Councillor Robinson.
I don't disagree with what Councillor Buckwell is saying. I think what the issue I have is the price tag. So if we are going to make this significantly less than $45, I think that would be that's a concern I have.
Councillor Rakic.
I think we can appreciate our volunteers in another manner, like, and to recognize them, because it is a volunteer day. And I'm thinking we have a beautiful park. There's nothing to say that we can't appreciate the volunteers and all the members of our various committees at a barbecue, which to me would be substantially less than $45. And I know we're trying to say that's at the high end. I guess I'm always trying to save money. And, you know, I do appreciate the fact at this time of the year, $45 could buy a turkey and some fixings, right, for a whole family. I still have a problem with us paying for the significant other or the partner. Because to me, I mean, we're all lucky to have a job and we're all lucky to be in Algona Wilberforce. I mean, people volunteer for committees and other volunteer fire department because I think they just want to make a difference. I'm hoping they're not just doing it to be appreciated at the Christmas or the festive holiday. You know, I think we could appreciate the volunteers, and maybe that's something we can do, and maybe we should make it a special day as opposed to lumping them in with the Christmas or the holiday event. The festive dinner. So to me, if we could, I don't mind paying. I as a council member, I would pay my own supper. You know, and if I chose to bring my partner, then I would pay for them too. I don't think the taxpayer should pay for me to go to a festive dinner. You know, if we choose to celebrate our employees and the members of our fire department and the members on the different committee, if that's what we choose, I'm okay with that. I'm just not okay with paying for their partners or significant others And I think if we want to recognize the volunteers, we can do it on a separate day altogether at a much cheaper amount.
Thank you, and I would just add that I do agree we should have some sort of appreciation event, because we have traditionally used that as an opportunity to prevent service awards to employees who are reaching milestones, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 20, 25. So I think that's important to have that opportunity to be together and recognize our employees, whether they're volunteers or whether they're paid staff. So again, I could go either way, either reduce the cost of the festive dinner or go with a community barbecue or some sort of a volunteer recognition event. Michelle, you had your hand up earlier.
No, I was just gonna say that, if we were to go with the festive dinner, that staff would obtain quotes and pricing from various vendors in the municipality to ensure that, we were cost effective and spent, the fund wisely.
So I guess we need a firm direction on which way council wants to go, Councilor Robbins.
And this, before this is moved forward, we would get a report back as to the actual cost after the review.
I defer to staff on that.
We could do that.
Okay,
So we would defer this then until we get that information.
yes,
Council's okay with that, okay? Councilor Byrd, you're okay to
Yeah.
defer?
yes,
Councilor Buckwald,
Yes, I'm okay with deferral.
Councilor Robinson,
yes.
Councilor Becker Schoenfeld.
Yes,
Yes. So that's carried to defer. Item 7.4 is the holiday office hours report. I have a motion that council accepts the report regarding Christmas office hours and that the township office be closed from 12 p.m. noon on December 23rd, 2022 and reopens on January the 3rd, 2023. And further that the January 3rd, 2023 meeting of council be rescheduled to January the 10th, 2023. And I got a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councilor Buckwald, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Comments, questions? Councilor Robinson.
I still have the issue that from the 23rd, if there are businesses that needs to be done at year end, that there's nobody available. That's the issue I have. But I think we had in the past couple of days in between that the residents were able to access the office.
I'm not sure if it was a couple of days or was it one day where we were open the last day of the month in case somebody
Mhm.
wanted to make things. Yes, Michelle.
So last year we were open between Christmas and New Year's, and I remember that, the office was not very busy. The year before, there was one day that, the office was staffed.
Yes, Councilor Robinson.
Even if it's 1 or 2 days before the end of the year, I really do think that we should have office open for the residents.
Councilor Byrd.
I have to agree with that, because if somebody wants to pay their taxes before the end of the year.
So that would be December 30th or 31st. I'm thinking December 30th, correct? Would be the day.
Yeah, and the alternative recommendation on the report itself says to reopen on the 28th. And I don't have a calendar to see what that is.
So the alternative is that, we would be open 3 days. So the staff holidays are Monday, Tuesday, and then the alternative is would be that the office would be open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then open, close the next Monday, and then we open on January 3rd.
Council Burn,
Just have the office open Wednesday at the end of the year.
that being the Friday,
which is,
The 30th.
With
is it 30th?
Councillor Buckwalt,
Just as a notation, the 28th is a Wednesday. Are we still doing the office closures on Wednesday?
That's the summer.
that was just the summer.
That was just the summer, okay.
So the 30th is the Friday.
Right now,
Yes.
council direction would be for the office to be open one day on Friday.
That's what I'm hearing. You making the correction on your motion? It saves me rewriting it. That's the record, Sean Paul.
And just to communicate this as early as we can to the public, because some people were calling me that they were trying to get a hold of people in the office on Wednesday during our Wednesday summer. And I said, the office is closed on Wednesday, so whether we close to middle of summer or winter holiday, Christmas, whatever we're gonna call it, festive holiday, on the plexiglass, so people know about the update, because some people truly think it should be open all the time. I know it'll be on our website and maybe Facebook and stuff, but the more time it's repeated, maybe the better. Just so people realize that the only day they can come in is that final Friday.
Councillor Robinson.
Just a question, has the last, it's gonna be a bill going yet?
No,
We're done.
yeah,
So there's no other way to communicate any of this.
No, but we do have that electronic communication.
we have the electronic sign, we can post it
Oh,
here,
yeah.
and we can post it on Facebook page and.
I don't know, no telephone,
Yeah, and all the.
Okay. Just a recommendation for the future, something like this should be probably in when you have, so that we should make those decisions earlier. So that they can be sent out and we won't want to spread.
Okay, so the motion now reads that council accepts the report regarding Christmas office hours and the township office be closed. Okay, the council, motion reads that council accepts the report regarding Christmas office hours. And that the township office be closed from 12 p.m. noon on December 23rd, 2022. And open on Friday, December 30th, 2022. And further that the January 3rd, 2023 meeting of council is rescheduled to January the 10th, 2023. Now, my question is, are the mover and seconder okay with withdrawing the previous motion? And that was Councillor Buckwalt and Councillor Robinson.
Yes, I'm okay with that friendly amendment.
Councillor Robinson.
It's not very clear. Because we're closed at noon. It doesn't say when it's going to be reopening.
So you wanted to say and reopening on Friday, December
So
30th.
it's gonna reopen for Friday, December 30th, and then the staff holiday will be Monday.
Okay, that's
So-
fine. All right. I'll accept that friendly amendment.
Did you want to just say and reopening on. Or maybe open is fine.
There we go.
Perfect. I'll call the vote. Council Byrne,
Yes.
Council Buckwald,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes,
Council Riker Schoenfeld,
Yes,
and yeah. Very good. Item 7.5 is zoning amendment application, Griffith Fabian. I have a motion that council accepts this report as presented. And further direct staff to process the zoning amendment application. That I gotta move in a second, and moved by Councilor Byrne, seconded by the representative. Comments or questions? Being none, Councilor Burns,
Yes.
Councilor Buckwald,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
yes,
Councilor Riker Schoenfeld.
yes,
I mean, yeah, very, thank you. Item 7.6 is the community safety and well-being plan update. I have a motion that council accepts the community safety and well-being plan report as presented. And I'm gonna move in a second, please. Moved by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Buckle. Comments, questions? Seeing none, Councilor Burns,
Yes.
Councilor Buckle,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
yes,
Councilor Riker Schoenfeld.
yes,
Yes, very. You. Item 7.7 is the municipal election report. I have a motion that council accepts the municipal election report as presented. But I gotta move in a second, moved by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Burke. Comments or questions? Councilor Robinson.
now, oh, I knew I had another, oh, sorry, excuse me. What, I guess after the 20, anything is received after the date that is in the form, those are considered spoiled.
So, so residents have till 8 p.m. on October 24th to drop off their ballots or
Okay.
return their ballots.
Right.
Yes.
Hand deliver at that point.
Yes,
And delivered at
that was what I was.
And the drop off location will be located here at the municipal office.
Are there gonna be any other?
No, so the only drop off will be here, but up until October 13th or thereafter, you can mail
Okay. No, because some were asking, and I said, no, it has to be here.
it. The only drop off is at the office.
Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, Councilor Burns,
Yes.
Councilor Buckwald,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes,
Councilor Riker Schoenfeld.
yes,
I'm a yes. Very, thank you. Item 7.8 is the RFQ PW 2022. I have a motion that council accept the RFQ trail kiosk, shelter areas and tourist information center report as presented. And direct staff to proceed with option.
A, B, or C. What's it?
Okay, can I get a move in a second? Moved by Councilor Riker Schoenfeld, seconded by Councilor Burns. And so I'll turn to staff.
So two of our RFQs have come in, each had two bids, so this one, this is from the active transportation grant, trail kiosk, shelter areas, and tourism information center. So essentially, the bid came in quite significantly higher than what we were expecting. So even the cushion of, inflation cushion that we had put in, plus 10% originally, then plus 30% when the other one came in high. So even at that, it's still significantly lower. So we can't outright accept either of the bids. But we do have a recommendation, so I'll just read the text there. The township's total budget for the project is $100,000. The $33,000 is on the budget for the tourist information center. The grant deadline to install the trail kiosks and shelter areas is January 2024. So we're not panicking, they're high because this deadline for the active transportation grant is not for quite a while. However, the deadline to install the tourist information center is this end of this. With that information in mind, staff recommends withdrawing the trail kiosks and shelter area components from the request for quotation and proceed just with the tourist information center to meet the grant deadlines. The township can reach out to contractors who submitted bids and invite them to resubmit based on the change. They may have cost savings or increases with the change of scope. If the township receives a bid that is within the budget amount, the township will award the amended RFQ. Then the RFQ for the trail kiosks and shelter areas can be reissued in the winter for the spring and summer construction season. So right now, a lot of people are just trying to squeeze things in at the end of the season, and things are significantly more expensive. We heard from Grant County, the CAO of the county, that their recent project that was budgeted $100,000 per unit for over $200,000 a unit, and construction costs are really high. So we're hoping that if we reissue in the winter, contractors will have more flexibility in their schedule to plan. And we would have a long time in spring and summer for them to schedule it in their schedule. So we recommend choosing one of the following options. A, withdraw the trail kiosk and shelter area components from the RFQ and invite the contractors who submitted bids to bid on just the tourism information center. The township will award the RFQ if the bid is received that is within the budgeted amount and meets the specifications. B, withdraw the trail kiosks and shelter areas from the RFQ and invite the contractors to bid on the tourist information center only. If the contractors decide not to bid, or if the bids are too high for the budget, the township would proceed with a prefabricated option. So we did do some research on prefabricated options, and there are, it's essentially what it is, an uninsulated building. So putting it on concrete blocks would be another additional expense. But if we bought a prefabricated option, we looked at some between $3,000 to $20,000, depending on how fancy it is, and depending on the flooring and how many windows and that kind of thing. But we could offer that, but then it won't be the miniature schoolhouse, which would be sad. But we would still have room in the budget. It's still a large budget. So even if we bought a prefabricated option and use the rest of the budget to make amendments, we could do that. Or C, the township decides not to award the RFQ or withdraw anything and pursues the prefabricated option. With the prefabricated option, staff can hire a contractor to connect the building to the community hall with a red tin roof and contract. So with the red tin roof, and then we get a price for the little thing that the bell would go on, because we have the bell, by the way, and contract out the other smaller jobs associated with the project. I did contact the granting agency and ask if we could, if they have slippage and we could get more money. And they said that is possible, but they won't know until December. So we have to move forward with an option, but it's possible that even if we move forward and we're like, oh, okay, we can't do custom racks inside that we put rack guards in, potentially, the tourism association would call and say, oh, we have this extra however many $1,000, and we would have some money to put them in it. Yeah. Those are the options.
Councilor Buckwell.
The concern I have with the options that we have is they all involve changing the RFQ and just going back to the original contractors. There may be contractors that didn't bid on it because of the chaos. And the other sites where they may now be willing to bid on something that's easy for them to get to. So I would be concerned about only going invitational to the ones that bid on this, especially now that there's pricing out there. The second comment I have, as far as the structure at the schoolhouse goes, have we given any thought to one of the Mennonite buildings, like the sheds that they will do and sell? I don't know what the cost would be like on that, or if they do one of an appropriate size, but then you would have something genuinely built rustically locally, as opposed to a commercial prefab.
Or whatever.
So I agree with Councilor Buckwald. It would be nice, maybe we, like, it wouldn't take much to, fix the new, right, proposal, because we'd just be eliminating stuff. We'd, tell the two people the reason why, and now they're going to just alert them to the fact there is another one coming up, and maybe, like Councilor Buckwald said, other people would join in.
The issue is the timeline.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't be able to get it out until the end of November. And then it would have to be spent by the end of December. Like, I just don't, unfortunately, it doesn't look like that. Through our procurement hall, but through our procurement hall. So.
Councilor Bird.
I like option C and talking to the Mennonites, but they can build them pretty quick. And if you want a schoolhouse, I'm pretty sure they would work with us on that.
So it would have to be prefabricated, it can be custom built. We did.
That's right. Because then you'd be asking them to do something.
Yeah,
That they should have bid on them.
right, that's right, they had the opportunity to bid, and I did call, like, I didn't call them, but I called everyone in the phone book, and I asked for recommendations from people, and sent this around to a lot of people. It's really hard in the fall,
So what would a prefabricated one, what would that look like? What are you thinking?
like one of those, Facebook marketplace. The top is,
Like the ones that are at the Quebec turnout?
yeah, like those, or, yeah, something like that, board and batten, like a simple, it would just be simple box, because essentially that's what this is. It's just very basic, there's no insulation. The only extras is that we were going to have electrical from the building or a solar panel just for lights and like a plug-in. But, yeah, I mean, that's potentially you could take things off, you know, if someone were to submit their bid, they could just say, look, this is what I could do for your budget, sort of thing.
Because I know the ones the Quebec turnoff, I mean, that it takes a while for you to get those. But does our grant mean it needs to be put in place by the end of December 2022, or does that need to be billed by the end of December 2022?
So build by, but I mean, we don't want to run into the case of paying for something that's not.
Right, because I just know those ones, they do take a long time to get to.
So there are some on Facebook Marketplace right now that are just used, that people have on their property that they're selling.
Okay,
That we haven't looked at or anything, but I mean, that messaged a few people just to get a price, you know, how much would it cost to transport it, all that kind of stuff.
would we be contravening anything by going back to those two people that did bid and just saying, we decided to get rid of this, this, and this, and we submit a quote on that?
Yes. go ahead.
Mayor, I don't believe so. So, issuing a new RFP, or RFQ based on our procurement bylaw, we don't have the time, because we do have to provide, we do have to advertise, and we wouldn't be able to, we would need, enough time at the end of this month before we would be receive those tenders. So, unfortunately, there's just not time to do that, but, based on our procurement bylaw, there is options to negotiate and be able to do that, so.
We would be required to contact those contractors who did it. first, like,
Right.
Councillor Robinson, you have your hand up.
I wanted to go back up to see, there was, you'd made a comment about withdrawing some up and still being able to complete a portion by December.
yes.
Which portion is that? No.
That is the Tourist Information Center at Golden Lake. And then the thing that we would just leave for tomorrow, or next fiscal year to deal with would be the trail kiosks and shelter areas for the trails. Like on the Wilkins Trail, the gazebo, those kind of projects, we could do those for next summer.
Okay.
And it would be fine, we wouldn't have to ask for an extension or anything, that would be within our schedule right now. It's just, I'm also concerned because of the corduroy road, we have extra expenses with the trail we were hoping to get out of that grant. So I just, even if it were closer, it's still, I think we'd spend too much money. That we have a better chance later.
Okay.
Councillor Buckwell.
So just looking at the recommendation to continue with Golden Lake, how much would we be likely to be spending in addition to the grant funds?
My goal would be not to spend any additional funds at all. That it would be 100% covered by the grant. I would rather take things out than go over budget.
Okay,
Because we can always build it later. If we have the structure in place, we can always,
Add to it.
yeah.
So can we just scroll so we have three options there again, please? Thank you. Councillor Reddy-Sean.
I think option A is the best option for us. Just because of timelines and time constraints. Because people have already put forth an effort into figuring out what certain things would cost, so hopefully they could get their estimate to us relatively quickly, and then we could move forward. And I think that would be more of a customized thing as opposed to buying a prefab one somewhere else. And it's unfortunate that, the Mennonite community couldn't have come forward. I'm sure they could have constructed something that we but anyway, that's neither here nor there.
So I have a suggestion to go with option A. Any other comments from council? Councillor
I
Robinson.
guess I would, which of the options that would recommend be thinking is the best options for moving forward.
So the thing about, so option A and option B are, the beginning is the same. Just if with option B, you would just be giving us permission to, if we don't get quotes, to go ahead and just do a prefab option. But A would be just to go PRQ. And that's it, like not pursue a prefab option, and C is to only pursue a prefab option. B is to contact the contractors, and if it doesn't work out, do the prefab option. I'd say B is probably where, whatever.
And that was my thought, because then you're looking at both options at the same time, so just with timing, it probably gives you,
Most leverage.
or saves you some time having to go through one and then follow up with the second one after. Councilor Buckwell.
the only concern I have with option B is we haven't seen what the prefab is going to look like as far as design or shape or size. And I have some concerns with that as to how it's going to fit into the area.
I think though, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'll turn to staff maybe for more details. If we're looking at both options, if for some reason neither contractor decides to bid, the staff could come back with a conceptual drawing or pictures, whatever, to give us an idea of what it would look like. It could still, we could still have that opportunity to say yay or nay, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's a great. The thing is, it is a really short time, so.
Yeah,
in terms of, knowing what it would look like, the other thing is if we have a prefab, it's just a shed really, like, and that's all that we even, it's not insulated, it's very simple inside, there's no walls, there's no finishings, it's very bare. So even if the building was just that, we could then with the rest of the budget, because we still have $33,000. So if we bought even $10,000 prefab, we still have that extra money to make it look aesthetically nice on the outside. And we don't have to go through the entire procurement process just to refinish the exterior. So you could give feedback, but essentially it would be like a wood board and battens or like a wood finish and red timber.
Get that right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Councillor Buckwalter, are you okay with that?
I'm still concerned because I know there was a fair bit of concern over how the actual stuff on the schoolhouse wasn't what a lot of people expected. And I'm just concerned with approving something without so much as a concept drawing. I would probably be more comfortable with option A, that goes with whatever drawings were provided to the contractor, so that, again, if we're talking about, as Cameron mentioned, that they're available on Facebook Marketplace, that I couldn't support, because whatever you're getting there, I would want some extra involvement with that before it happened. But as far as going with a prefab without any concept drawings, design plan, I wouldn't be supportive of that. I could support option A, based on the fact that the materials had already gone in. So if we can get something with that, I'd be okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask for a show of hands then, before we actually pass the resolution. Those in favor of option A?
But I do have a preface there in addition. What if we went with option B and then we had a special meeting, we had a very short timeline? I mean, most people would be able to say, I can provide something like this and it's gonna look like that. And if that didn't work, then you could hustle and find something, and then at least then that would, like,
We still get the money.
then Councillor Buckwell, then we get to see what it actually looked like. We still could say yea or nay at that point, but then, like, and I'd be okay with a special meeting. It would be just about a very quick meeting. That's just my
Councillor Robinson.
difference.
Yeah, I was pretty much going to say what Councillor Sean felt is, if we took at option B and put some of the costs from option A in it, so that we do follow up. I think.
But our resolution in front of us right now is pick A, B, or C.
Yes,
I think we can actually. We could do it for then.
Can I just say that if we don't, like, if worst case scenario, we don't get tenders, then we would just lose the money. It's 100% grant. So even if we bought a prefab thing, it would be something, we'd at least be getting the money. That's the only thing.
So those in favor of option B? Do we need to amend it?
I would be comfortable if it was amended that we have that follow-up.
That before we purchase prefab, it comes back to council.
Yes. And it could be a quick meeting.
I say,
Yeah.
we could do that. Another option would be that I could informally send it around, you give your feedback. Oh, no, never mind, sorry.
No,
Never have an illegal council. We don't want that.
an email meeting,
Okay.
No. so,
But it could be just really quick, like, you
Yeah.
know, like. it could be
Yeah,
very
it's a
quick.
Zoom meeting.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, so, we could, So we could go with option B and we could add an additional line that, that, council need to review, plans for the prefabricated option. And further, a special meeting will be held to review, the design for the prefabricated option.
So, Laura, you're working on that, okay, thank you. So the resolution has been amended to read that council accepts the RFQ trail kiosk, shelter areas and tourist information center report as presented and directs staff to proceed with option B. And a special meeting be held to review the plans for a prefabricated option. Been moved by Councillor Reddy-Schoenfeld, seconded by Councillor Burns. I will call the vote. Councillor Burns.
Yes.
Councillor Buchwald.
No.
Councillor Robinson.
Yes,
Councillor Reddy-Schoenfeld.
Yes,
I'm a yes, and that's carried. Item 7.9 is the RFQ PW 2022-12 that council accepts the RFQ lodge renovations that Melissa Bishop Park report had presented and accepts the quotation from 1,187,812 Ontario Inc. for $351,363.95, including HST. And can we just bring up the report, please?
So staff included request for quotations for the lodge renovations and 2 quotations were received. The project synopsis is described as follows. The township is renovating the historic Lake Story Dance Hall located at Mitsubishi Park into a community lodge. The main dance hall space and lounge area will maintain the rustic characteristic of 3-season access, and the existing kitchen needs to be removed and replaced with a winterized addition kitchen. Winterized bathrooms will be built inside the main building adjacent to the kitchen addition. The roof of the dance hall space will be replaced and the ceiling will be insulated. Electric fireworks will be installed in the lounge. The exterior of the building will be refinished to reflect rustic auto lounge. So here are the 2 bids. Staff recommends accepting the lower bid, which is about $30,000 lower. So this is over our budgeted amount. But both quotes were unfortunately over budget. To award the renovation, the township will need to modify other budgeted items, including less expensive signage. Mostly, we had to put a large budget towards signage and removing the unveiling event costs from the budget. So we had budgeted in an event for the unveiling, so we would have to remove that from this budget line. And potentially we could still have an event through a different budget line. We also included a buffer within the budget, and this would eat up the entire buffer. But essentially, everything is complete in this project so far. I mean, like all the other RFQs during the summer, it's all complete. This is the last expense besides the fact.
So can I get a mover and a seconder before we open up for discussion? Moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Ricky Schonfeld. Comments, questions? Councillor Ricky Schonfeld.
So then by doing, those budgeting items, then would be back on budget.
Yeah, that amount also includes the HST, so we actually can take it. So it would actually be 316 would be the amount from the grant.
And then, and we were able to stay like within the township lines in that, we're not, yeah, and we got the right setback. Okay. There's gonna be a red tin roof on
Yeah.
the.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments? And so just, I think I know where it's going. We will have a 4-season rental unit then.
Yeah. This would be, yeah.
That's great. I like that idea.
The location is really good for that too.
Yeah. Okay, seeing no further questions, Councillor Burke.
Mr. Mayor?
Sorry, Councillor Buckwell, yes.
So I'm just looking at the report. So the dance hall space and lounge will be 3 season. The existing kitchen will be removed. I see we're winterizing bathrooms. What are we doing for bedrooms?
So this grant doesn't cover anything upstairs at all, and it doesn't cover any sleeping arrangements. It's actually only for public community, like community center space.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I know we had talked about that at one point. I just want to make sure that it hasn't.
So Councilor Buckwell.
Sorry, go ahead.
Putting into the RFQ, having 2x6s on the addition, so that in the future, potentially we could build an upstairs space, that is included in this quote.
Okay, so the possibility for a future expansion is there.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Any further questions? Seeing none, Councillor Burns,
Yes,
Councillor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes,
Councillor Ricky Schonfeld,
Yes,
and a yes, that's carried, thank you. So that brings us to correspondence. I have a motion that council accepts correspondence items 9.1.1 to 9.1.2 as information. And I'm gonna move in second, please. Moved by Councillor Byrne, seconded by Councillor Buckwell. Councillor Burns,
yeah,
Councillor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
yes,
Councillor Ricky Schonfeld,
yes,
and a yes. Carried, thank you. And that brings us to action items. Item 9.2.1 is the impact in touch. And I have a motion that council accepts the impact property assessment taxation video as information. Could I have a mover and a seconder? And then I would have just asked staff to play it. It's moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Rector. Let's put out by impact, just to try and clarify the difference between assessment and taxation. And dispel some of the myths.
taxes are based on your home's value. What you might not know is that an increase in your home's value doesn't necessarily mean your taxes will go up. To explain, let's take a look at how your property taxes are calculated. Imagine there's a town that only has 3 homes, and they're each worth a different amount. The total cost to provide all of the town's services is $1,200. This is collected through taxes. Each homeowner pays property taxes based on their home's assessed value. So we take the total cost of services and divide it by the total property value. This tax rate is applied to all the houses to get enough money to pay for the town's services. Each homeowner pays according to the assessed value of their home. Every 4 years, the houses are reassessed. Let's say all 3 properties have gone up in home value. Total cost of services hasn't changed, but the total property value has increased. When this happens, there will be a decrease in the tax rate. Now, when we apply that new rate on all homes, everyone still pays the same. Now, let's say another group is and these homes are reassessed. During this time, the house on the right gains more market value than the other 2. The total value of all the homes have increased now, which means the town has to calculate a new tax rate. With this new tax rate, the first 2 homes will actually pay less than the home on the right that was reassessed at a higher value. Since the cost of services hasn't changed, the town doesn't need to collect more property taxes going forward. However, since property taxes are based on a home's value, taxes for each individual home could potentially go up or down based on the rest of the homes. So what happens when the cost to provide services goes up? Well, it means more property taxes need to be collected from every home. New tax rate is calculated. To get the new rate, take that amount that the town now needs and divide it by all of the property values. New rate is applied to all the homes. Now everyone has to pay the new tax amount to continue to fund the town's services. So let's review. 1, property taxes are based on the assessed value of a home. If all assessments go up equally, everyone pays the same. 2, if all assessments do not go up, there's a redistribution of the tax. 3, the town's cost to provide services increases. A municipality may choose to increase the tax rate. When this happens, everyone pays their share of that increase. That explains the relationship between property value and property taxes.
Thank you for sharing that. This was the video that the county sent out to every municipality because it was the same question that keeps coming up, and there seems to be misinformation that just because your property assessment goes up, that means your taxes are going to go up as well. Which isn't true, as they explain here. If everybody goes up 20%, your taxes basically stay the same. It's only if one property goes up more than the other, say for instance, lakefront goes up more than the residential, then that class pays more. Any other questions, comments? That's right, Michelle.
Maybe just, I don't know, somehow we could hold it on our Facebook page, or maybe even on our website, just view the video. It is fairly simplistic, but it does tell a lot of things.
You could provide a link on our website and our Facebook page.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, Councilor Burns? Yes. Councilor Buckwell?
Yes.
Councilor Robinson?
Yes.
Councilor Reddick Schoenfeld?
Yes,
Yeah. There is. Thank you. Are there any matters of urgency?
No.
Any notices of motion?
None received.
So upcoming meetings and unfinished business, we have 14.1, which is the Boncher Public Library funding request. I have a motion. The council accepts the Boncher Public Library funding request report, and that council sponsors the Boncher Union Public Library Viewpole Rocks fundraising event in the amount of 500 from the council donations budget. And I got to move over in a second, moved by Councilor Byrne, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Comments, questions? Councilor Rankin Schoenfeld.
Do we still have money in that budget line?
Oh, yes.
And secondly, do we know if, they asked like, Forest Valley for a donation too?
I think it was going to go.
Yeah,
They did, and Boncher Valley is donating the Eagles Nest. Yeah, without any charge.
and do you know if they would have asked Adams and Longman also?
I don't know.
No.
I'm not sure.
There's a different arrangement with Agneston Blanken and HR.
Yeah, they're not funding parties,
No.
funding partners, but they are
Associated.
part of the associated group. Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, Councilor Burke,
Yes.
Councilor Buckwald,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes,
Councilor Rankin Schoenfeld,
Yes,
and yes, carried, thank you. That brings us to item 15, that council's got a closed session pursuant to section 239(2)B of the Municipal Act regarding one personal matter of an identifiable individual. So I need mover and a seconder to go into closed, moved by Councilor Burns, seconded by Councilor Rankin Schoenfeld. We'll go into closed at 8:12 p.m. 16.1. Item 16.1 is Communications Committee. I have a motion of council direct staff to proceed as directed in closed session regarding the Communications Committee. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councilor Bird, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Councilor Bird? Yes. Councilor Buckwald?
Yes.
Councilor Robinson?
yes.
Councilor Rankin Schoenfeld?
yes.
I mean, yes, that's carried. Thank you. Item 17 is our confirmatory bylaw. We have a motion that bylaw 2022-55 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council for October 4th, 2022. Be read a first and second time this 4th day of October 2022. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Buckwald. Councilor Burns.
Yeah.
Councilor Buckwald.
Yes.
Councilor Robinson.
Yes.
Councilor Rankin Schoenfeld.
Yes.
And yes, be read a third time and finally passed this 5th day of October 2022. That's carried. Item number 18 is our adjournments. I have a motion that this October 4th, 2022 regular meeting of council adjourns at 8:27 p.m. And I'm going to move in a second, moved by Councilor Burns, seconded by Councilor Rankin Schoenfeld. Councilor Burns.
Yes.
Councilor Buckwald.
Yes.
Councilor Robinson.
Yes.
Councilor Rankin Schoenfeld.
Yes.
And yes, that's carried. Thank you all very much.
Okay, you went?
Yeah, well.